Okay. Welcome, everyone. This is Bonnie Slope BSCO 2022 Winter Community Meeting. My name is Darren Falk. I am the BSCO president. With me, we have lots of some of the faculty. We have Janet, we have Jim. I think I saw Jim here. We also have my fellow BSCO board members. We're excited to have you. So let me kick this into this mode and we'll get going. All right, so I gave a quick intro. As we go through the slides, we'll just have everyone kind of introduce themselves as we go. And so with that, I'm just gonna go ahead and call this meeting to order. Just so everyone knows, logistically, this meeting is going to be recorded. It will also be posted. The first item we have is just getting the minutes from the last community meeting approved. I want to let everyone know that during the last community meeting, or shortly after, we had some technical difficulties, but we worked them out. Those meeting minutes got posted, and we'll make sure that they are more timely posted and communicated out to everyone in a little bit more expedited fashion after this meeting. So they've been on the BSCO website here for a couple of weeks. I'm just going to kind of open up the floor. Does anyone have any questions, comments, corrections to the minutes that were posted on the BSCO website? All right. Hearing nothing, we will consider those approved. All right. We'll just move right along then. So if you have any questions or comments, please raise your hand. Feel free to use the meeting chat, or just feel free to just bump in and speak up. We're happy to just answer questions on the fly. Yeah. And then there's also just like the raising the hand under the Zoom controls, which I can't currently see to guide you through directly. You could also raise your hand in video, though it will be harder for us to be actively scrolling to see you. But if we miss someone, or if you see that someone has their hand raised, please let us know as well. All right, so quickly for our agenda, we're going to have Janet and Jim just kind of give us a quick little update. We'll talk a little bit about who's BSCO, what do we do, our board openings. We'll chat a little bit about this year and what we achieved, what we're still trying to achieve. And then we'll work through how we support the school, committees updates, volunteering updates, treasury updates, and fundraising updates. Sound good? All right, seeing shaking heads, I'm going to pass it over to Janet and Jim.
All right, so I'm Janet Mazza. I'm the principal at Bonnie Slope Elementary, and Jim, if he'll raise his or wave, is a assistant principal. Much of what we're saying tonight is exactly what we said in the principal chat. But for those of you who are watching this because it's being recorded and couldn't make the principal chat, first we want to say thank you so much to the community for all of your support. We're working really, really hard to keep the school continuing. We have had some classrooms shut or go into temporary remote learning for 5 days, but they'll be returning tomorrow. And one of the other ways that we keep our school open is having our positions filled with substitute teachers. Substitute teachers on any given morning could possibly have close to 50 different schools they could go to. And when they show up at Bonnie Slope, we are so forever grateful. We take very good care of what we call our baby subs. Those are subs that are just learning how to substitute for the first time ever. Our office staff takes good care of them, making sure they know everything they need to know. Our staff from Bonnie Slope check in on them and help out those who can get the lay of the land at Bonnie Slope. And then we also write thank you letters. And one of the things that I've asked the community to do for volunteering, since our volunteering efforts are much slimmer this year, is to maybe just write a generic thank you letter to a substitute teacher and then just bring it to the school, and we'll give it to some of our subs just to encourage them to come back to Bonnie Slope, to keep her positions filled with substitute teachers when there are absences, and to let them know just how much we appreciate their efforts in keeping us open. So that's the letter writing campaign for our substitutes. We know that volunteering it's been tough this year. And as I shared in the principal chat, nothing brought more joy than seeing some volunteers coming in, printing things off on the copier. Every time somebody come in, it was just like this silent cheer, yay, we're getting back to normal. And I mean, even though it was just like one sub at a time, it just lifted everybody's spirits, and then kaboom. We lost that opportunity, but I know it's coming back very soon. We're just trying to get a grip on this surge, and as soon as it starts going down, and I hear it's going down soon, we'll get those volunteers back into the building. But in the meantime, we have opportunity. We have a committee that has reached out. It's outdoors, so volunteers can be outdoors, and that is our garden committee is up and running. And so we can have volunteers outside up on the garden, not around students, but there are things to do. So if you are interested in the garden committee, to go on the BSCO website and look up the committee lead and contact our garden committee. I know the teachers are excited. I mean, any time that we can just bring the community back closer to Bonnie Slope just makes us all feel good. And we are just so grateful for the volunteering that does happen, even though it's not happening in the building. The volunteering that's happening for the party in a box, for winter break, for all of the wonderful things, the signs of appreciation for the staff, the books, the treats. I mean, we are definitely feeling the love. So thank you for that. And then just a change in how we arrive to school. So if you are new and you are bringing your child to school, one thing you will need to know is if you want to let your child out of the car, you need to let your child out of the car in front of the school, right up where I'm standing by the crosswalk. Let your child out quickly. Do not get out of your car. Your child needs to get out of the car on the passenger side. It keeps the cars moving. And really, we have very, 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 like 1 or 2 tardies, whereas we used to have 15 or 20 on a regular school year. We just have 1 or 2 tardies a day because we're just trying to get everybody in the building as quickly as possible. So if you delay that by getting out of your car, or your child's not ready to get out of the car, it may not seem like 1 or 2 minutes is a big deal to you, but after 10 cars, it can make students very late for school. So thank you for your efforts in following that process. A new part of that process, however, is when you enter the parking lot, there is a small parking lot to the right. And this parking lot is frequently used by parents who want to park their car, get out of their car, and walk their children to the door that their child's been assigned to. The problem is that when they get out of that parking lot, it's disrupting the flow so much that there's a huge backup. And so we're going to ask that if you park in that parking lot, that you just wait 5 minutes until 8:30 and then or until all of the cars have really slowed down coming into the parking lot. By 8:30, it's like you would have no problem. But if you could just wait a few minutes so that there's not a backup any longer, that would be really helpful. And actually that goes for anybody who parks and gets out of their car and walks their kids up to the school. The exception of that is if you park in the lower parking lot and walk up the stairs, and we'll cross you at the crosswalk, really, even when you pull out, you don't really cause a delay. So for those of you who get out of your car, if you could wait just until things slow down, it's not very long. I promise you, it's like 5 minutes. It makes all the difference in the world. Jim?
Am I doing
Oh,
science
no.
school?
Yep.
Go for it.
No, I'm supposed to do the fifth. Sorry.
No, that's all right. Go ahead.
Jim, sorry about that, Jim. One other thing. So there are signs that things are going back to normal. One of them is 5th grade science school. We are so excited. As you know, we don't have field trips, we don't have volunteers. It's been a rough go. However, we have, as a tradition, we have been having our fifth graders have either outdoor school. We had math overnight. It was like an outdoor school, but it was math and it was on Mount Hood, but then they took away our ability to spend the night somewhere. So we, thank you, Chris Basham, brought science school to our fifth graders, and they get to go out into farmland or the wilderness, and they learn all about science. And it's such an amazing 2 days for our fifth graders. It's an extended day on one of the days. We have to use private transportation because of the hours, but it really is something that kids can look forward to when they hit fifth grade. March of 2020, we thought we were going to be able to go to science school. And I said, we're just gonna be closed down for a couple of weeks. We'll just do it toward the end of the school year. And as you know, we did not go 2020 or 2021, but in 2022, we are going to get our fifth graders to science school, and super excited. It is paid for by BSCO. And it really is an amazing treat for our fifth graders. It's a really great learning experience, and we are glad that it's back. And now, Jim, up next to you.
Thanks, Janet. Yeah, we just wanted to share thanks to BSCO and the community for all the support you've given us. I've been in education for 30 years, and I have never been given a free book. And when I read that there were books in the staff room for us, I didn't really understand it until I saw it. And then when I saw all those books in there, it was like manna from heaven. I am a big book fan, so I have my book that I took here. And they were recent books. And so it's those little things that really mean a lot to the teachers and the staff in our buildings, just being able to get those little surprises. And they may not seem a lot, but they really boost morale, and they just make for an extra special year. So we wanted to share our thanks to BSCO and the whole community for the continued support that you've given us. And I think that's it.
All right. Well, in the spirit of just like keeping the MUSH train going, I just want to say thank you to the community who helped make that happen, the committees that helped make that happen, who do everything to try and take care of the teachers, but teachers, staff, like faculty, like admin, thank you so much for everything you're doing. Like jumping the gun because I was planning on doing this at the end, but like really, thank you so much for everything you're doing. Y'all are crushing it, and we're really just all as a community trying to do whatever we can to make your lives a little bit easier in what's been a trying year. So all right, with that, let's chat a little bit about BSCO, shall we? So for those of you who aren't familiar, this is BSCO. It's Bonnie Slope Community Organization. We're the PTA or the PTO, depending upon the acronym you may or may not be familiar with. But really, everyone who's part of this community, the parents, guardians, teachers, and staff, you all are part of BSCO, whether you like it or not. So enjoy it. What do? We're here to just support the school, to help make the learning more enriched for the students before, during, and after school. We have some fun events that we have done and are looking forward to getting back to doing as soon as it is safe to do so. And then we help with fundraising projects that are kind of like outside the scope of what Bonnie Slope and the Beaverton School District allow. So science school being a prime example of that. What don't we do? Some ground rules on things that you would not expect to hear me or anyone else from the board start pitching. We're not seeking to control or direct or anything on Bonnie Slope's policies or the administration. We don't intervene or participate in like political campaigns. So if you hear me talking politics, that's naughty. And the BSCO board members, we're not compensated. We're here. We're just trying to organize the help, essentially. And so keep that in mind. We're volunteers just trying our best to help out the school during what was going to be originally a year of transition back to normal, and it just kind of turned into a different version of last year, but we're getting there. All right. Oh, goodness. My computer is frozen. Oh, the more you know. That's what I had to double click for. Sorry. All right. So how do we do it? So we have 3 community meetings each year. If you missed the lively fall community meeting, it is on video and you can see it at bonnieslopebosco.org. This is the second one of the year. And then our third one is May 26th this spring. And that's where we'll go through, approve the budget, that sort of stuff. We have a blog on our website. We have an email newsletter that comes out every other week, offset from the school's newsletter. And then we also have a Facebook and an Instagram. Thankfully, we don't have a TikTok, so you won't see TikTok videos floating out there from Bonnie Slope Bosco. We have budget and fundraising goals. Each spring, I had mentioned this, we have a community vote. We put it together. It's really based upon what we think the next year is going to hold. So the last couple of years, budgeting has been a little tricky. But the community votes, the budgets are posted on the website as well. So you can go and look at the high level details as well as a drill down. And we have paragraph explanations of what makes up those line items. And then really one of the primary things we're trying to achieve here is just help mobilize the community, get them trained on, hey, here's the volunteer stuff that we have to do, whether that's here's how you upload your vaccination card, or organizing events and supporting the various committees that we have out there. I'll just pause right there real quick. Any questions? Or are there any questions in the chat that I can't see?
None in the chat.
All right. Just keep firing away then. All right. So next up is our board openings. So we have almost half of our board is it's going to be their last year with us. We have some folks who've been on here for 2 years, our volunteers, directors, they're fantastic. Begonia, our secretary, she is going to be graduating out of Bonnie Slope. And then Elizabeth, our director of communications, she has an exciting family opportunity that's taken her overseas. So if you are interested in any of these positions that we're going to have open, or just want to learn a little bit more about what a board meeting might look like that's not the big community meeting, please feel free to reach out to myself or to Begonia. Our email addresses are here. You can also find us at the website. We'd love to chat, share a little bit about what we do, how we do it. I would say, at least my experience is, it's casual. We try and have a good time, and we're just trying to help. The communications director role, we would love to find someone sooner rather than later, just to have some cross training done before Elizabeth has to leave the country. Okay. With that, so our goals for this year, we're really just trying to continue to support Bonnie Slope in any way that we can. Shamala, our treasurer, she's going to go through funds that have been used already, some of the grants that we funded so far, but really just trying to help keep supplies stocked and learning going. If there are any additional ideas that anyone here has on what we can do to continue to enrich the learning, we would love to hear about those, whether you're a teacher or a community member. If you think there's an interesting thing we could do that we haven't thought of on a way to help, let's hear about it. It's what we spend a lot of our board meetings chatting about. We also want to continue to be a resource. So as soon as volunteers are allowed back in, we're going to try and shoot that information out, let folks know, hey, here's how we can help with the change in information. And then at some point, we are hopeful that we can have some park level meetups in the spring, and that'd be more of a, hey, here's all the friends that I met in my class, and hey, the parents can kind of loosely meet each other, hopefully at a distance. But this is future. I'm not saying that this is going to happen, and I will knock on wood somewhere as well. All right. With that, I'm going to hand it over to Sarah, our Director of Committees. Sarah, take it away.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sarah Sun. I'm the Director of Committees. That's all for that slide. Are you controlling it or do I?
Sorry, gotcha.
Okay. So just to let everyone know what the committees are all about, the committees really just supplement and support the activities that are already going on at Bonnie Slope through student enrichment programs, family events, and extracurricular activities. And these are all made possible by our wonderful community of parents and volunteers that really make these things possible. So if you go to our website, you can see I just took a screenshot of, you can see all the different student enrichment activities. There's also the family events and the other events that are going on and activities you can be a part of. And there is a description of those things in the volunteer handbook as well. So if any of them interest you, if you want to be take the lead on any of these things, please contact me and we can get you set up. Whatever level of commitment that you feel like you're able to give, we can sort of match you up with what makes the most sense, or whatever interests you have. The current committee needs are for cultural enrichment, parent education, the yearbook committee, and then the community garden. And I'll talk more about a couple of these things in the next slides. So the first update we have is for OBOB, and we have two wonderful committee leads, Dinah and Riley, who are heading this up. And we are going to be doing just the Bonnie Slope competition this year instead of the regional competition. But it'll be great and wonderful, I'm sure. And so anyone who's interested in signing up, your 4th or 5th grader, or signing up to volunteer with that, please email this address right here. Next slide. Janet already talked about the community garden a little bit, but if you have been up to the community garden, it's right sort of above the playground next to the soccer field. It is normally a beautiful, wonderful place where the kids can go and they can go with their classes, learn about planning things and doing various spending time up there. But it could use some TLC right now. It's a little covered with weeds and other things. And so we have got Molly Lampros, who is the committee lead right now on that, and she's getting things started up. And so we're really excited to have volunteers join in the effort. There's going to be a lot of cleanup that's needed to get it back into the shape that it once was. But once that's up and running, I think we'll have a really nice place where the students can be outside and learning about things. So if you're interested, please contact Molly at garden@bonnieslopebosco.org, and we can get you set up with that. Next slide. The staff appreciation team continues to support the Bonnie Slope staff in virtual ways or in through treats or other gifts. And so you'll hear about these opportunities throughout the year through the paw prints or through the BSCO newsletter. And so please be on the lookout on ways you can just provide the staff with some support and love that they need, I guess. Next slide. All right. The 5th grade team is working on a lot of activities to support the 5th graders and make it a fun and memorable year for them. And Begonia is heading that up. She's on this call right now. So we want to be able to have like a really great celebration for them. What that looks like, we'll find out more. But as they start doing the planning for the 5th graders, and if you have a 5th grader and you want to be a part of that, her email address is right here, and you can find out more ways to get involved with that. Next slide. All right, and there are various other committees such as Artlet, Geography Club, Bobcat Trail Club that are sort of on hold right now as we wait more guidance and as we see how this surge goes. And so as we find out more about what we're able to do, we'll definitely keep everyone updated. I know that there's been a lot of questions about when those can get back up and running again. And as soon as we know more, we'll share that with you. But we definitely want those things to happen again, and when they're safe and when we're able to. So if you have any questions, please let me know. You can email me at this address here, and yeah, I'm happy to let anyone know if you're interested in being a committee lead or if you're interested in any of the other committees. And I think that's it for me. Thanks, everyone.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Sarah. Megan and Air, we are on to you two.
All right. Hi, I'm Air. I'm a co-director of volunteers with Megan. I am the better half. If she said that she is, don't trust her. I am. And I'm just gonna go over, over this quick slide. So yeah, if you're interested in volunteering, just really make sure you complete your application and get your background check done. And as you already know, that there's no current in-person volunteers until further notice. So it's really up to the district. And once, if the district says yes, in-person volunteers are allowed again, we still need to check with Janet to make sure that that's also the case for our school. So if you see that, hey, the district said that volunteers are allowed in the building again, just don't assume that this is happening. So just let me and Megan check with Janet or Renee, conduct first, and then we'll communicate that with you guys. And Megan is going to talk about the Valentine's Day party boxes.
Yeah. So before we weren't allowed to volunteer anymore for a while, for winter we did some volunteer activities. We finally got party coordinators assembled. We put together winter party boxes for the class parties. So even though we weren't allowed to go into the classrooms, we did what we could to provide a party in a box. So the grade level party coordinators got together and put together an activity or a craft, threw in some snacks for the students. And from what I heard, they were a pretty good hit with the teachers. So we're gonna go ahead and plan that for Valentine's too. So yeah, the party coordinators are busy planning those activities. Yeah, and we were pretty actively volunteering for about, I'd say, a month, two. Going into the copy room, making copies, laminating, doing whatever we could to help out, and we're anxious to do it again as soon as that's possible. So thank you, Mr. Trawler. We enjoyed doing it. Yeah, we can't wait to get back in the school again. So many volunteers let me know too that they were so excited to be back in there. I just saw a question in the chat, so I can, I'm not going to be able to answer if Mr. Hammond has a party coordinator, but we are pretty set for party coordinators right now. Classes that didn't have one sign up have been able to cover for all the classes. So for one grade, we're missing one party coordinator, so the other classes covered, and every student got the same activity, craft, goodie bag. So it went really well. Yeah, so we're going to do that for Valentine's, and then hopefully in the spring, toward the end of the year, we'll be able to have some sort of in-person class parties, maybe outside. So that's what we've been doing.
All right, love it. Thank you so much for the updates, Megan and Air. All right, next up, we're going to chat a little bit about the budget with our treasurer, Shamla. Take it away.
Hi, thank you, Darren. Hi, everyone. I'm Shamla Anand, and I'm the treasurer, like Darren said. Let's go to the next slide. So I'll try to keep it short and sweet. So our original budget for the year was 145K. But as you guys know, COVID has been a continuous thing. We've continued to be impacted by COVID, and many of the activities that we normally would have had this year have been curtailed. On the good news side, we have Science School that's back, and that's an event for the 5th graders that's sponsored by BSCO, like Ms. Maza just mentioned. It's about 15K, and so that's on for this year. And basically, based on what we've done last year and with Science School included, we expect to spend somewhere around 60 to 65 K this year on basically all these categories that you're seeing on the left. Most of what we spend, the table on the left, by the way, shows what we've spent so far, right? About 18K. And most of what we spend, about 65% and more, is towards teacher support and student enrichment. So most of the teacher support funds they really go towards classroom supplies and pencils and erasers and whatever else that the teachers need to keep the classrooms fully supplied. Some of the student enrichment activities we support are things like the Newbery Book Club, advanced reader books, social and emotional learning, secret stories. I've heard a lot about that this year from my kids. That's supported by the BSCO funds as well. We approved additional PE grant this year to get the kids additional PE supplies like hula hoops and more chalk, things like that. And another fun grant that was approved this year was the Salmon Life Cycle. So Mrs. Klingner, I believe, is leading it for the 5th graders and 4th graders. They're going to observe, I think they've got eggs and a tank and a lot of cool things. And they're going to see a salmon, full life cycle of a salmon. So pretty interesting things. And as like Darren mentioned, if you have other ideas, do let us know. We'll try and support that. Some of the community events we've supported are the Monster Mash, right, which is again a big hit, I know, in the BSCO community. So that's mostly where we spend on. Again, most of it goes towards the community or pretty much student enrichment activities. Yeah, that's all I had. Well, thank you. That's good to hear.
Any questions on the budget or what our forecast is currently? All right, we'll keep moving. All right, Aaron, who's our VP of fundraising, he's going to give us a fundraising update.
Yeah, thank you for everyone attending that's on the Zoom call here. We're just gonna hit you with these numbers over and over and over again. No, but one thing that we wanted to make sure that we highlighted, because I think, kind of hear it a little bit here and there from parents and things like that, is, what are we spending money on? What do you guys do with all that money? And so our goal is to always be very, very transparent. And we want the community to know exactly what we're doing. And so again, the BSCO budget generally is right around 145,000. That's kind of our pre-COVID. We were hoping this year might be going back to that pre-COVID budget. But because of the limitations that we have with social distancing, not having volunteers in the building, things like that, just a lot of the things that we typically like to do, we're just not able to. So last year was the first year of kind of that reduced budget. And so the budget, basically we spent right at around somewhere between 45 and 50,000 on the various things that we were able to actually do. And fortunately, we were able to raise right at about that same amount of money. So with the fundraising, typically, I'll get into it on the next slide, but there's two main fundraisers that we put on. Last year, we only did one, which was the Jogathon. And so most likely this year, our plan is to just kind of mimic and redo what we did last year. And so just based off of too many variables in the unknown, a lot of time and effort gets put into putting on the auction, which we were actually all very excited to try and host again this year. But it's just too many things that would have to go into it just to potentially get canceled again. And so we've opted, because we know that our spending is probably going to be down, just to go back and only do the one fundraiser this year. And so the reason for the jump this year from last year, going from 50 to 65,000 is actually a good thing, because as Janet said already, that the fifth graders are able to do the science school. The cost of that is about $15,000 when you take in the transportation and then the cost of the actual school and everything. And so so that's kind of our budget. But one question, that some people may ask is, why are we still fundraising? And the reason is because, our goal every year is to try to cover, the expenses that we put out there for the year. And so we always want to try to make sure that we're bringing in, as much as we spend. Some people say, don't you have enough money in reserves to cover this year's budget? And the answer is, fortunately, yes, we do. But our goal is that we want to be good stewards with the prior boards, where they put us in a very good financial position. And we want to make sure that, we're not just thinking about this year, but that we're also thinking about the future. And when we do get to go back to normal, we want that first year as we, hit the ground running, and we want that board at that time. So it'll be hopefully this next year, and it'll be some of us, but even in the years after, that they're able to just jump right back in and run all the programs that we've run, in the past. If you want to go to the next slide, Darren. So the primary fundraisers, for this year, there's the Jogathon. That'll be our primary fundraiser for the year. The goal will be that we'll hopefully raise about $50,000. In years past, when we've been able to have the Jogathon at the school, we've actually raised even more than that. So there's a good chance that we may, be able to beat that goal. But the hope is that we'll be able to run it on the track, whether we'll be able to have parent volunteers. The hope is that it'll be in May. So hopefully a lot will change by then, and we'll be able to have, people out there helping. But if not, we believe that the teachers and the students will be able to run the Jogathon like we've always done in the past. Last year we had to do an off-site one, and people were able to do it kind of on the weekends or after school. And so hopefully we'll be able to do it all at the school. The other areas here that you see on the screen, the double your donation. A lot of the local employers, Nike and Intel, and I mean, those are just, some of the bigger ones, but they provide a lot of matching funds. And so we always want to encourage parents to ask your employer if they do matching funds. Typically there's a form that you need to fill out, but if you're donating money to BSCO, then a lot of times they will also match that. Looks like we're currently at about $2,000 that's come in so far this year in matching funds. We would hope to see about 10,000 total. The other thing there is the box tops education. There's also Amazon Smile. So these are just some passive ways that you might be able to help raise money for BSCO. You can go in and select them as your organization. And then last but not least is the Bridge the Gap, which hopefully we don't ever have to go to. I don't think there's been a year where we've actually had to do that, but basically it's a write a check program. So at the end of the year, if our fundraising goals fall short, then we might, put out there, hey, we want to cover our expenses again this year. But like I said, in years past, we've never had to do that. And so hopefully this year we won't either. So, but that's all about the fund. I guess I also put in a plug for the Jogathon. It is going to be in May. We do need volunteers to help plan and do all of that. And like I said already, it's hopefully going to be held at the Bonnie Slope track. And there'll be prizes for the top student earners, just like in years past. But also we want to, the goal isn't necessarily just to get everyone to try to raise as much money as possible, but just to have participation. And so we try to make it as easy as we can for the families or the students to, through, I believe it's Pledge Star that we've always used, just to be able to send emails to friends and family saying, hey, would you, sponsor me while I do this run? And so there's going to be drawings for students that at least just engage, whether they raise any money or not. If they participate, they're going to have a chance to win. And so again, the goal is to engage all students to participate and bring a sense of unity, which, I know in terms of for the whole school, we haven't really gotten to do much of that. So.
Okay. Any questions on fundraising or any of the stuff that Aaron just went over? Oh, it's a chat. Oh, this is Klinger's salmon update. Oh, goodness. All right. Wow, that's exciting. Okay. Thanks, Aaron. Elizabeth, communications update.
Thanks, Darren. I will be pretty quick. You guys hear from me at least once every other week, so this will be relatively fast. But some reminders: we send out our BSCO newsletter every other Thursday. That is in Parent Square. So if you are ever wondering what's going on, you can go to the BSCO group and you can see all of our newsletters there. It's on the Paw Prints off week. So just if you're wondering what weeks we do there, that's always a good resource. And then of course our website. So our website, we keep up to date. I will, put in a little plug. If you have thoughts or ideas about ways that the website could help you more, we're really interested in that feedback. We've been looking at potentially doing a little bit of a revamp to the website, making it a little easier to use, a little more friendly to get to the information that you care most about. So if you have thoughts about that and you want to shoot them over to us, that'd be great. You can send it to myself, to Darren. We'll keep a list of all of the comments that we get. So yes, please feel free to do that. And then we also have the socials, so we can go to the next slide. Another good resource. So we'll post events, updates, other things around the community to Facebook as well as Instagram. And then we also have the grade level pages. So those aren't specifically managed by us, but they're a great resource to connect with other parents within your individual grade level. So those resources are all there as well. When we send this out, those are live links, so you don't have to go searching around for them, but those are the actual names. So if you're looking and you're trying to type in Facebook right now, you can type that in and you should find it pretty quick. And then I think I just have one more slide and I will put yet another plug for someone to take my role. It's been a super fun role. So please, if you are at all interested, reach out to me. I'm happy to tell you all about the role, as well as Darren. He can of course give you some more details as well. I am on a very fixed timeline. We're moving to Germany. I don't have a whole lot of say over exactly when that happens. We are leaving. So sooner than later, we would love to get somebody in to transition so you can see what the process looks like and I can sit with you side by side. So if you're interested, please let us know. We would absolutely love to have you. And I think that's it from my side.
Yeah, and I'll reiterate, if you have any questions, let me know. But also, since she's not going to be here for the spring community meeting, Elizabeth, thank you so much. Like, you've been fantastic, done just a great job of giving us all the updates that that we need and being concise and timely in them. So thank you so much, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
All right, so we're 47 minutes deep and we have reached the end. This is like one of our board meetings with just a smaller group. So I just kind of want to open it up for any questions or comments that anyone might have. Anything we as a board could do better, any just questions about anything really. Give you all a moment to type them in the chat or raise your hand. I turned off the screen share so that we can see if there's hands raised anywhere. All right, I don't see a whole lot. So I already hit the must train once. I'm just going to do it again. Thank you all so much. Everyone who's here, the teachers, the administrators, the BSCO board, you all have been fantastic. The community, thank you for taking such good care of everyone who I just listed. We're making lemonade out of lemons here, kind of flying by the seat of our pants. But I can at least say for my family, I have three children at Bonnie Slope. They are having an absolute blast just getting to go to school, and they don't care about sitting on a blanket at lunch. They appear to be very strong-willed about, okay, yep, someone got sent home today from their classroom and we all kind of think we know what it was. So like everyone who's doing things like, there've been a couple birthday parties where it's like, hey, it's nice, it's 42 degrees out, but the sun's out, so we're gonna play outside with our masks on. Like everyone's just doing what they can to keep the schools open. So thank you all so much. If anyone has any questions about the open positions, please reach out, let me know. Otherwise, I would move to adjourn this meeting and give everyone back 11 minutes. If you thought it ended at 8, technically my calendar reservation was or ended at 9, so an hour and 11 minutes. You're welcome. All right. Thanks everyone so much. We'll see you again in approximately 4 months, but would love to chat in the meantime.